Kinugawa has made an incredible back-to-back tournament run with a top 8 at NAIC into winning Japan Nationals featuring Calyrex Shadow Zamazenta alongside Smeargle. We're going to be trying out the team and seeing how well it can perform. This Kali Zama team has quite a few tricks that make it stand out above the rest. Let's break it down. First up, we have the Rusted Shield Zamazenta to give it the crown form and the Dauntless Shield, boosting its defense by 1 stage once per battle with the Grass Terror type, mainly to help out against a Mungus Spore, but also give it a resistance to both Surging Strikes from Urshifu, the Water Spout from Kyogre, and the Electric type moves from the Miraidon and Raging Bolts out there. The Body Press, Heavy Slam, Wide Guard, Protect. It's pretty standard Zamazenta. What else to say? It's a great Pokemon. It has that incredible power of the Body Press, which is able to do a ton of damage while also being able to tank attacks thanks to its ability. Like, Body Press is an absolutely absurd move, and the Zamazenta is really able to capitalize, has really good bulk to pair with a Shadow Rider and threaten the Incineroars and the Dark types that do normally threaten the Calyrex, and you are able to put on a lot of pressure against them. With this Zamazenta being a very, very bulky one with 204 HP with 180 physical defense with an impish nature, and then running some speed and the rest and remainder going into special defense and attack. Across the board, this is just a really fast, bulky Zamazenta that's able to hit hard, which is able to tank attacks and support the restricteds. Next Pokemon we have is the Life Orb Calyrex Shadow Rider with the As-1 foot ability with the Terra Dark typing, which is able to help out against opposing Calyrex Shadow Rider, being resistant to Astral Barrage as well as immune to the Psychic type attacks, but also is able to help out against Prankster mons like Whimsicott Encore and the Grimmsnarl Thunder Waves with the Astral Barrage, Psychic, Nasty Plot, and Protect. Life Orb, Calyrex Shadow, and Nasty Plot is just so effective because it is able to do so much damage and even just sweep with just 1 Nasty Plot compared to the bulky Shadow Riders that, or the Focus Sash Shadow Riders that just missed a knockout. So having that Life Orb for really strong initial damage, or just being able to set up once and then you really, really are wreaking havoc. This Calyrex Shadow Rider is interesting though, and to be noted in the video, I thought it was Max Speed Shadow Rider the entire time that I was playing it, but it is not Max Speed Shadow Rider. It is 140 speed with Intimidator. This allows you to outspeed base 135 is guaranteed. And then it has a good amount of bulk on the Shadow Rider with 172 HP because you don't have like Intimidate, so you need Shadow Rider to stick around the field, especially even after the Life Orb chip damage, because it is one of your main sources of offense. Then you do have a good amount of special attack because you want to be able to KO things or just do initial damage across the bat, and the 12 in special defense. So this Shadow Rider is mainly to take advantage of the Tailwind to help out against opposing Shadow Rider, and really relies on Wide Guard Zamazenta as well as the Tailwind on Tornadus to handle opposing Shadow Riders while being able to just be good naturally by tanking attacks with the surprise bulk you might not expect on the Life Orb Shadow Rider, as well as still have a good amount of special attack available to it. Next Pokemon we have is the Sharkbeak Tornadus, which powers up its flying type moves with the Prankster ability, giving a +1 to any of its non-attacking moves with the Dragon Terror type, which is good against a lot of the common types, such as the super effective Electric that can affect the Tornadus. Fire, Water, Grass is resistant as well on the Tornadus. So it's just a good defensive typing in general. With that Bleakwind Storm that is able to do a good amount of damage, strong spread flying move, with Taunt, which is able to help out against opposing Wide Guard, any setup that your opponent might want to go for. The Tailwind, of course, is just really nice for the speed advantage, which really helps with the Shadow Rider and the Zamazenta, especially making more, instead of relying on the speed tie generally in most cases against opposing Shadow Riders, just helps out there. And then Protect to keep itself around. For the EV spread, you might notice it's still a very bulky Torn, 244 HP and 116 defense to be able to take those Surging Strikes and any just physical attacks well with the Tornadus, such as like attacks from opposing Zamazenta. But you are running a modest nature with 44 special attack. It's still able to hit pretty hard with the Sharkbeak, and the Bleakwind is actually able to KO stuff like the Urshifus, as well as just really be able to do a lot. And then with the Sharkbeak and the +2 from Decorate potential, you're able to one-shot, for instance, like Riolabooms out there that do have the Assault Vest, which normally the Tornadus would not be able to without that Sharkbeak and the modest nature. So it is able to get some KOs. 92 in special defense to still be able to tank like an Astral Barrage from Calyrex Shadow Rider and special attacks in general. And then 12 speed because it's a slow Tornadus. You're having 12 just a speed creep for speed Tornadus, although I don't think it was going to be a common Pokemon in the format, and it does underspeed the Smeargle, so you can go for a Decorate into Bleakwind and really dish out damage. The Tornadus useful for speed control, as well as helps out against Volcarona, which can be a bit of a problem for this team. So having access to Bleak Wind Storm to be able to hit it is really important. Next Pokemon we have is the Assault Vest Rillaboom with the Grassy Surge to summon the Grassy Terrain with the Fire Terra type with Woodhammer, U-Turn, Grassy Glide, Fake Out. It's a pretty standard Rillaboom. What else to say much about it? It still has a good amount of defense on this Rillaboom with max HP and 76 defense, being able to take the physical attacks really well from like Body Press Zamazenta and more. I think you can even live some Ice Spinners from Focus Sash Chien Pals. The 36 in attack with an Adamant Nature is still a jump point in its attack stats, so it can still threaten good damage with the Woodhammer and the Grassy Glides. Still has a really high amount of special defense to take advantage of the Assault Vest, 124, and then 20 speed in order to speed creep opposing Rillabooms out there. But in general, it is a very hard-hitting supportive Rillaboom. Not much else to say. It's going to take attacks, go for Fake Out, U-Turn, Pivot, which is really important. The special defense, of course, really important in the Miraidon matchup. But Rillaboom just has to stick around. That Grassy Surge supports the Grassy Glide and Woodhammer against opposing Shadow Riders, and also like just against Kyogre. Really helpful there. It's a good Pokemon. What else to say? I think we all know Rillaboom is a great partner with Shadow Rider Zamazenta. Next Pokemon we have the Focus Sash Smeargle with the Moody ability, which gives it a +2 in a random stat with a -1 in another stat. So it is a very interesting ability because it really changes the dynamic, because you don't know what will happen after the Moody happens. But with the Ghost Terror type, which is able to help out against Fake Out and Extreme Speed, with the Spore, Decorate, Follow Me, and Fake Out. And it's no surprise that Smeargle has been popping up recently. Fast Spore is of course really good, and the amount of support moves that Smeargle gets is absolutely insane, especially with Wide Guard and quite a few other options. I bet even though Kinugawa did reveal his team, like, you have to be scared of potential like the Smeargle being changed during Japan Nat, so you can't guarantee that the Smeargle is going to have the same moveset, and that could definitely just catch opponents off guard. It is a very strong Pokemon in both best of 1, but also it is able to do well in best of 3 because it just has really good supportive move options with Spore and Follow Me, Fake Out, like all of these support options on one Pokemon. And then Decorate, which plays mind games because Decorate also goes to Protect and is able to boost a target's special attack and physical attack by 2 stages. It's really here for the Calyrex Shadow Rider, but you can do it with your Tornadus, you can do it with the Raging Bolt, you could do it with Rillaboom. Zamazenta is a bit weaker because Body Press and Boost, it's only the Heavy Slam that's going to be taken advantage of. However, that Decorate can add different layers mind games to Smeargle, because if you want to target the attacker, for instance, you could go for Protect, Decorate, you could go for like Nasty Plot, Follow Me, or Fake Out. There's like so many different things you can do with Smeargle, and there are definitely a lot of ways to control it with Smeargle. But otherwise, this EV spread, max speed with a Jolly Nature, you want to have the fastest Smeargle out there, 244 defense for some potential physical attacks like the Grassy Glides and more, and then 12 HP. But mainly max speed for fast Spores, 244, just to be able to take the physical hits well if your Sash is broken from like Fake Out, Grassy Glide, for instance, from opposing Rillaboom and more. Final Pokemon on this team is the Booster Energy Raging Bolt, which gives it a special attack boost with the Photosynthesis ability and the Electric Terra type to power up its Electric type moves and get rid of its Dragon typing with Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, Thunderclap, and Protect. Raging Bolt, of course, is super solid. It gives this team a bit of a switch in against opposing like Torn Urshifus or Torn Kyogres out there, because you are able to threaten opposing Tornadus, which can be a little bit difficult for this team to handle. But also, it's just a good mod in general. Like, it's really powerful. It's able to help out being a resistant to Miraidon as well. Another one that's helpful in that matchup especially. And you can go for things like Decorate with Thunderclap, which definitely do threaten a good amount of damage. Just a good Raging Bolt. It's a strong Pokemon, and then when you pair with like Decorate, Smeargle, and the other supports that you have, it can really wreak havoc. And this Raging Bolt, 196 HP, just gives it a number that is a number divisible by 16 and then a +1, so you are able to have an odd HP stat for like Ruination and Super Fame, but also like get the maximum amount of Grassy Terrain recovery that the Raging Bolt can have access to. Max special attack because you still want to hit hard, and with Booster Energy and a +2, it actually can do some really strong damage with the Terra Electric especially. It can KO, for instance, like a Terra Fairy Miraidon, even a bulky one, after with a Thunderclap, which can be absolutely absurd. Then the rest, 20 speed to speed creep opposing Raging Bolts that don't have any speed, because otherwise they run a lot of speed or they don't really run any speed, and then just a little bit extra into the defenses. So how to use the team? overall with this team, it's a lot about setting up your restricteds just in general. A lot of the teams in this format do, and no better ways to complement it than Priority Tailwind, as well as Decorate Smeargle with access to Spore as a powerful sleep option. A lot of leads you can go for: Torn Smeargle, which we were able to see on stream, Calyrex Shadow Rider with Smeargle. Of course, you do have like classic leads like the Raging Bull plus Rillaboom, Raging Bull plus the Zamazenta, for instance. Torn can lead with anything like Torn Zamazenta. Rillaboom can lead anything with Fake Out. You could even lead like Rillaboom, Smeargle, and go for like U-turn, Spore into like quite a few different combinations. So there's a lot you can do, especially with the access to mind games. A lot of it is trying to set up the Shadow Rider Calyrex or the Raging Bolt especially, but you can dish out a lot of damage at the start, especially for Shadow Rider Calyrex to be able to wreak havoc, especially under that Tailwind if you absolutely need the extra speed. And yeah, not much to say. It is just really a team that really supports the attackers with the Torn and the Smeargle, and is able to do a lot of damage thanks to that Decorate combo. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be down below in the description. And let me know what you think about Smeargle, because this Pokemon has definitely been a bane in my existence as a competitive player. Luckily, he doesn't have access to Dark Void, and Moody did get nerfed. But I am not surprised that Smeargle was able to do well at the NAIC and the Japan Nationals. I even called that Smeargle could do really well in the podcast that I do. And I do think that Smeargle, like, I've been testing it a lot before NIC, and I thought like it was a really good call going NIC. And yeah, it was able to showcase really well with several day twos and several top cuts in the Japan Nationals. So let me know what you think about Smeargle down below in the comments. Otherwise, let's get started and play some games. All right, we have Calyrex Shadow Rider, Miraidon, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Brute Bonnet, and Walking Wake. I think this is probably going to be a tough one here. This is going to be a bit of a tough one because I'm trying to figure out Dondozo, but I'm not even sure if the Dondozo's even... I don't know if Dondozo's a problem. Attack booster, Tatsugiri. Probably Sash on the Calyrex Shadow Rider. Gonna be a tough one. Trying to figure out if I go with like Torn Smeargle or if I just try a Raging Bolt angle. Unfortunately, I don't have Wide Guard on the Smeargle, which would help me in this case. I just don't even really like Torn. I get the Tailwind up, which makes the first part consistent, but the rest is inconsistent. Do I like Zamazenta? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't like Zamazenta. It doesn't do anything in this matchup. I think we go with Torn Smeargle still, but we try to boost a Raging Bolt with Calyrex Shadow Rider back. Let's see. Because it's such a weird one here, because I have to deal with the Shadow Rider. I have to deal with the attack booster Dondozo. It's not defense booster, which would probably be easier for my Raging Bolt to handle. Although Photosynthesis doesn't get affected by the Unaware, which is nice. We're going to see Bonnet and the Shadow Rider, which actually is probably a pretty decent lead for me, I'd say. I have a few options. My Torn is slower than my Smeargle. I am considering a play potentially here of just going for Bleak Wind and Decorate, because I could probably KO the Bonnet. I don't know if it's Rocky Helmet or Covert Cloak, but I think my best play here is just to go for Decorate into the Torn and Bleak Wind, because Tailwind Spore could be very likely here, or maybe even so I think they would want to counter that by going for like a Rage Powder and Astral. I'm gonna go for Decorate. Let's try it. Please don't be Spec Shadow Rider, which I don't think it does. But yeah, I can delay the Tailwind because my Torn should be able to live any attack, assuming it's not like Terra Ghost. They do go for the Protect play, so Protect Spore is also another option that they had that wasn't Rage Powder. This works out for me because I went for the Decorate into my Torn. So hopefully we can KO the Bonnet with a Bleak Wind, assuming we connect. This is modest Sharp Beak Torn. I imagine we do if we just land the Bleak Wind. We do land the Bleak Wind. Beautiful. So we KO the Bonnet. Fantastic turn one. Then next turn I can Tailwind Spore. Unless we get the speed boost, then we don't have to Tailwind. Defense, okay. And special attack fall. Not that big of a deal. Do I just follow me in Bleak Wind here? I don't need Smeargle at all for the rest of the game. Dondozo coming in. What's stopping me from going for Bleak Wind into Spore to Dondozo? I don't think there is anything that's stopping me from going for that. Yeah, I don't see a thing that's stopping me. They can protect Dondozo, but the Shadow Rider loses its Focus Sash because it had Protect, so it's either Life or Focus Sash. They do just make the Dondozo play of just switching out to Tatsugiri for the other slot and attacking, which is fine because they can't take a knockout here. They do have Unaware, so the Decorate boost won't matter here, but I think this is still a pretty good position for the most part. I'm kind of curious on who's faster between Dondozo and my Smeargle, because boosted Dozo doesn't need much speed to outspeed Smeargle if I'm not mistaken, but it's slow Dondozo. Okay, very slow Dondozo. I am able to go for a Bleak Wind. Do we get the chip? We get the chip. Beautiful. Okay, nice. Very nice. I want to save the... Do I want to save the Torn? Trying to think about, do I just double switch here? I could go into Raging Bolt, which is tempting. The Moody's don't really matter here. Speed drop actually kind of does, I suppose. Not that big of a deal. I think we go Raging Bolt for the Torn slot and we go Shadow Rider for the Smeargle slot. I think as long as we power through the Dondozo without losing too many resources, we should be fine. There's no way they click Earthquake here. Like if they click Earthquake, great play on their part, but I just don't think they are clicking Earthquake in this position. Booster Energy for special attack. If they take the 3 turn, it's massive. Also, if we can expend a Terra on the Dozo here, because it probably has to Terra in the grass, or Fairy if it is Fairy Terra, I suppose. Nice. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. And now we can go for Draco Meteor into Astral Barrage, and even if we lose Calyrex Shadow Rider here, I don't think it's that big of a deal personally, because I think we get a lot of chip into Dondozo, because the only way that Dondozo can knock me out is with a Water type move, probably Wave Crash specifically. Psychic has a chance to spit Death Drop to Dozo, which is more optimal since it's the same power as Astral Barrage, so we go for Psychic. We go for the Terra. This should be Terra Grass, I assume, or maybe not because they're not that weak to Smeargle. But are they Fairy? No, it is Grass. Okay, perfect. So I did go for the optimal Draco Meteor here and a Psychic. I should be doing some pretty good damage. They're also weak to Torn Bleak Wind as well, which is also pretty nice. But we got a Psychic off. Good damage. We don't want to KO the Dozo with our Raging Bolt though. They do wake up. They go for an Order Up, which is like whatever, into the Shadow Rider. We land a Draco, which is the more important part. We do land a Draco, perfect. So this should do a lot. Not as much as I was hoping for, but that's still good damage. Okay. I don't know if they're Earthquake. I think that this is just a Torn angle and so go for a go for Protect, because I am not losing to Earthquake Dozo here. Because if they Earthquake and double knock me out, that's bad. They just Protect to get Leftovers Recovery, so that makes sense. Okay. I failed to Protect, so I can go for it again, but there's no reason for me not to just go for Tailwind Draco Meteor. Yeah, Tailwind Draco Meteor is always the play. Yeah, we go for Draco Meteor, we go for Tailwind. So Raging Bolt's faster than Dozo. Again, they have Unaware, so they ignore my special attack drops. So even with Booster Energy, I'm still doing a good amount of damage to Dozo. That's also a very specially defensive Dozo if it's taking the Draco Meteor and Psychic like that. I think it's pretty high. It didn't also do that much damage with the Order Up, so I don't think it actually has much investment. I don't think they can knock out Torn unless they go for Wave Crash, but if they go for the Wave Crash, that's fine. I'm pretty sure I'm just set up for a Shadow Rider sweep at this point. Assuming I land, I think I have to land one Bleak Wind to break a Sash, but regardless, I think I'm still in a pretty good spot. Draco Meteor going to come out on a Dozo. Almost a knockout, which is beautiful. And then they are going to go for a Order Up into the Raging Bolt, which doesn't even KO, but sure. I think we're just going to go for Draco Meteor and a Dondozo again, and we're going to swap out into our Shadow Rider because we can get some offensive momentum. Sure, I could swap out my... Only one of them can be Sash, right? Between the Tatsugiri and the Calyrex Shadow Rider. So I'm kind of curious on who has the Focus Sash, because if it's not Tatsugiri, it's probably either Ability Shield or Choice Scarf, I imagine. But yeah, we bring out our Shadow Rider. They probably protect to get Leftovers Recovery anyway, so this works out. Oh, they don't. So I am able to get the Draco Meteor KO into Dundozo. I get a crit there. I would have loved a crit earlier in the game, but sure. All right, feeling pretty good about how we clean up. Feeling pretty good. They already used their Terrestrialization, so I can go for Astral Barrage. Did I switch out my Raging Bolt ever? Do I switch out my Raging Bolt ever? It doesn't outspeed Shadow Rider, so probably not. I know I always click Astral Barrage here. I'm just curious on what I do on the Raging Bolt to guarantee, like, between any Focus Sash odds, any Choice Scarf odds. I think the best play is still to just go for probably Thunderclap into Tatsugiri and go for a Astral Barrage with Terra Dark. Because this covers if it's Focus Sash, Shadow Rider. If it's Life Orb, I don't think they knock me out with Astral, so I should be good here. And make sure that Tatsugiri can't get an attack up, because I'm pretty sure Thunderclap and Astral will always kill Tatsugiri. And if Tatsugiri protects, that's fine. Okay. So is the Shadow Rider... So Tatsugiri has Protect, which means it's not Choice, most likely. Okay. You get the Astral. Are you Sash? You are Sash Calyrex. So what is the Tatsugiri? All right. The Astral back. Yep. And then we go out into Smeargle, I'm pretty sure. We click Spore. Is it Goggles? Is it Cover Cloak? I'm just gonna fake out and I'm just gonna Astral Barrage. They're gonna protect as always. Yep. Okay, the Tatsugiri didn't protect. It is Helmet. Okay. Sure. I think I still am. Yeah, no, I'm still pretty likely to win here. Wait. Oh, no. I'm fine. I'm fine. I think. Wait, hold up. It actually was Helmet. I was like, out of Helmet or Goggles, which one would I expect more? Of course, it had to be the one I didn't want, but I think we have a likely chance to win, although it depends on the Shadow Rider set, because they can definitely win depending on their moveset. Okay, they just went for Astral, thank goodness. Okay, I think I win guaranteed here. Okay, cool. Woo. If they had Encore and they Encored my Smeargle in a fake out and just left the Smeargle alone, I could have lost on the speed tie. I could have very lost on the speed tie. They Draco Meteor my Smeargle. Cool. But I do win the game guaranteed. Actually, is it a guarantee? There's some ways that could be messed up here. They're +1. I think I'm good though. I go for Astral Barrage. I'm gonna Psychic in case they protect to stall out a turn of Tailwind, or they protect to get the Life Orb hit. Because if I go for Astral Barrage Tailwind, they could protect. Go for. Actually, I should have just Astral, because like if it's Rocky Helmet Tatsu, it's not doing any damage to the Torn. Granted, I still have to hit one more Bleak Wind. There's Muddy Water accuracy drops that I could consider. Draco Meteor crits. But then again, they're -2. No, actually, the play was to always Astral there. Yeah, KO to Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider is the only one that could threaten the knockout into Torn. So that endgame, a bit poorly played on my part, but I felt like my opener and my mid game were super solid. That the end game I did have a bit room to mess up, but I definitely should have cleaned that up more cleanly, I think. but it has to be helmet Tatsu. The one Tatsu that was like in that situation, like if it was goggles, I was like, oh, I shouldn't spore because it might be goggles, and then I could actually get messed up if it is goggles, because I think goggles is worst case actually. But helmet was a pretty bad situation if it had it, and it did, but luckily it wasn't game losing. Miraidon, Galarian Weezing, Calyrex Shadow Rider, there's the Chiyu, Dondozo, and Tatsugiri. Great. Love dealing with this kind of team. I don't think Zamazenta's it. I think it's probably like Torn, Smeargle, Raging Bolt plus Shadow Rider again. I think I'll just bring that realistically, because I can't really see like what else I would really bring against this kind of team. I think just having the spore pressure from Smeargle is massive, because against teams where I can't get the Tailwind up guaranteed first, so I can outspeed in general, it's just better to bring Smeargle and just click spores. Because of the Focus Sash, I'll live one hit, I outspeed the Weezing, I can go for spore and threaten the Tailwind at the same time, so I think it's just worth it here. Kind of curious if they're going to protect one of their mons turn one, whether there's Terra Grass. I mean, the Weezings don't really run Safety Goggles. They all run Cover Cloak now, which makes my job a lot easier. But let's see. Calyrex Chiyu, that's fine by me. That's fine by me. We will eat Smeargle and the Torn. I think we just go for Tailwind and spore the Shadow Rider slot. Yeah, I like Tailwind and spore the Shadow Rider slot. Don't really know what else to say here. I mean, there's a Weezing switch potential, but if they do make the Weezing play, one of the Pokemon are getting spored, or maybe both in the future turns. If they try to bring out Miraidon for a Heat Wave nuke on my Torn, that's fine, because Smeargle will be around. And if they decide, hey, I'm just gonna throw off my Pokemon here, that's fine by me. Okay. I might need a 2-turn sleep on Cali, but I mean, this is still probably pretty decent overall. Let's see who's faster, the Chiyu or the Shadow Rider. It is a Chiyu, so it's Scarf Chiyu. That is a dodge on Smeargle, which means I get to keep my Focus Sash, which is very lovely. And thanks to the Beads of Ruin right now, I am threatening a Spore and Bleak Wind. Speedfall is actually kind of bad because I underspeed the Chiyu, but I guess that is just like how it goes sometimes. We are going to go for a Spore into the Chiyu and go for a Bleak Wind. I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. Bleak Wind going to come out. Good damage to Calyrex because Sharp Beak, Modest Nature, and the Beads of Ruin. Heat Wave going to come out and knock out the Torn. I did knock out Torn. That's insane to me, actually. It burned my Smeargle. Wait, this is bad if they wake up. They wake up, get the Psychic off. Oh, it depends on the Shadow Rider. Oh, it's Life Orb. Okay. What a weird RNG fest that just happened, but sure. We go out into our Shadow Rider, I think, or we go out into Raging Bolt. No, we always go Shadow Rider here because Raging Bolt doesn't outspeed the Chiyu because it has Choice Scarf. I threatened some pretty powerful hits with Bleak Wind and Astral. They're probably going to double switch to Dondozo if they have it. Yeah, there's no reason for me not to just click Astral Barrage and a Bleak Wind, because even if they have Terra Normal on the Shadow Rider, Bleak Wind will KO and I outspeed the Shadow Rider, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. The Chiyu can't protect, so the Chiyu is always going to go down in the upcoming turns. I'm kind of curious on what the last two are. The last two are going to be interesting because I'm just trying to figure out if it's the Sun mode or if it's the Dondozo mode. I'm hoping that Raging Bolt's going to be enough, and thankfully... Oh, they Terra. What? Don't tell me it's Terra Normal Chiyu. Okay, no, the Shadow Rider Terras. Yeah, but you go down to Bleak Wind. The Torn is faster than the Chiyu. Did they forget that? I think they forgot that. Or they're just hoping for the Bleak Wind miss, because maybe it's like... I'm guessing the back Pokemon is... Oh, they just go down to Astral, actually. You just go down to Astral because the Beads of Ruin and Life Orb is just enough. Okay. I'm not crazy, right? Torn is faster than Chiyu. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. I was like, wait, am I missing something? Is there like some crucial information that I was missing? I was like, there's no way that Terra Dark there is the option, but they went for it. I'm assuming it's the Sun mode in the back because it was Dondozo mode. Yeah, they had Dondozo. I would have brought out Dondozo, but sure. Okay. That's a Giri. I mean, I could still lose this easily, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot to just fire off attacks. Yeah, last turn of Tailwind. I think I just protect my Torn and go for a Psychic. The Psychic, I can go for Spadef drops. And also, I don't have to worry about... I guess I didn't have to protect Torn, but having the Tailwind is nice for dealing with Dozo. They don't have Terra anymore, so I think my Raging Bolt wins. Good damage. They order up. They body press my Torn. Okay. Body press cover to switch too. All right. I guess I'm just gonna go for a... Do I Tailwind or do I Taunt? So I think, well, it's Scarf Chiyu, so it can't be Sash Tatsu. So it can't be Scarf Tatsu. Yeah, I just taunt here. I taunt in Psychic. The reason I taunted Dozo is because then they can't protect stall for lefty's recovery, and then Raging Bolt with Terra Electric Thunderclap will just nuke the Dondozo after another hit. So I get the Psychic off. Good damage. Oh, they have Wave Crash. Okay. They take a bunch of recoil, but now I go out into Raging Bolt. I click Terra Electric Thunderclap and Bleak Wind. Yeah. Now that seals it. So I should be fine here. Because it should be, well, yeah, it's Life Orb Shadow Rider, so it should be Sash Tatsu. If I break the Sash, I just guarantee win here. Bleak Wind into Thunderclap. The Dondozo. And then if we hit the single target Bleak Wind, we can just spam Thunderclap and Taunt, and that should win us the game. So yeah, we have a good seal. I'm just surprised they didn't try to go Dondozo earlier to absorb the attacks because they kind of had to in that situation. Maybe stall out Tailwind, KO the Torn. The fact that they Terra Dart the Shadow Rider was throwing away their Shadow Rider. They really just threw away their Shadow Rider, or they were really hoping for Bleak Wind misses. Thunderclap KOs the Dondozo very easily, so Dondozo does go down here. And Bleak Wind, do we connect? Just make my life easier so we can guarantee win. Nice. Good K. Good damage in the Tatsu. Now we can go for Taunt and Thunderclap, and we will seal the win because they can't really stall out the Thunderclap when I taunt the Tatsu. I could go for Tailwind Thunderbolt as well. That would also probably win it. But yeah, I mean, there were just multiple angles at that point that I could win. Can't believe we faced two Dondozos, man. Oh, we have the mirror. This mirror sounds so bad, man. This mirror sounds so bad. Zamazenta, Shadow Rider, Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, Tornadus, Smeargle. Is it just gonna come down to some Smeargle speed ties? I'm trying to figure out, is there a way to prevent this? Is there a way to prevent this? Because I think Torn is pretty good in the mirror. Is it like Torn, Raging Bolt? That loses the Shadow Rider though, which I'm not happy about. Yeah, there's no guaranteed way because it depends on leads. If they lead Smeargle Shadow Rider, then it's a bad spot. But if they lead Torn Smeargle, it would be great. I think we still go with Smeargle Torn. I think this is going to be a Smeargle Torn game. Let's bring Shadow Rider in the back with Zamazenta. I don't know how to play this mirror. If it's, I don't know if you bring Raging Bolt to this, which I could definitely see Raging Bolt having value. But the problem with bringing Raging Bolt is it's not super amazing against a restricted Pokemon. But we'll see. Daily Torn Zama. Okay. Versus Smeargle and the Torn. Okay. I don't want this to be a taunt speed tie. Because I could go for taunt Spore here. I'm debating about like different lines here. There's fake out involved, and I could go for fake out to either slot. I could go for fake out taunt into Tailwind, which is probably the safest angle. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I could greed this position, but the greed is just so bad. I mean, I want a potential speed tie if it is a speed tie. Okay. This should be heavy slam in the Smeargle. Okay, they did go for a Tailwind. Oh, they went for heavy slam in the Torn, actually. Huh. Moody, special attack boost, doesn't matter. Defense fall, okay. This could be protect because they would be worried about... this is kind of a weird spot. I kind of like the idea of going for Decorate into my Torn and going for Bleak Wind because it is a roll on the Heavy Slam, it looks like. They also have to be fearful of me going for a Tailwind Spore into Zamazenta. So, we'll see. They go for Heavy Slam. Oh, wait. The Torn's not asleep. I clicked Taunt into it. Wait, hold up. Wait, hold up. We get the Decorate off in the Torn. Do we win a speed tie? Okay, Bleak Wind miss. Oh my goodness. Okay, we missed our Torn. That actually is pretty good. Oh, and we get a speed drop on the Zama. Let's go. Wait, this is huge. This is indeed huge. Because now their Zama doesn't outspeed Torn. So I can go for Bleak Wind into Spore. The Torn. The spear sounds so dumb. The spear sounds so dumb, man. Because I'm just doing Smeargle stuff. But it is cool that offensive Torn is actually putting a word. I think Terra Grass Wide Guard might be one of their ways out. They could just Wide Guard here. But if they Wide Guard, I just click Spore the next turn. So I don't know. Bleak Window is that kind of move. We are going to see the Terra. I have a feeling it's going to be the Zama. Yep. Terra Grass Spore. But the thing is, I didn't commit Terra, which is huge for my Shadow Rider. Because the only way they really beat the Terra Dark Shadow Rider was going to be with this Zamazenta. So this actually works out pretty well for me. As I get the Spore off. I mean, the upcoming turns are going to be very fascinating. Are you going to spam Wide Guard here the entire time? I really want to greed this play here. Attack boost. Defense fall. Okay, that doesn't matter. I want to greed this play. I think I'm going to go Shadow Rider and just click Decorate. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to decorate the Torn slot because I think you're forced with the Zama to Wide Guard because there's not really like anything else you can do in this situation. I don't know if you can risk a +2 Bleak Wind carrying through your team, so I'm kind of curious. If they do risk it, that's a really strong play on their part, but I want to try to get Shadow Rider in. And then boost. Oh, good play. I want them to get rid of Smeargle because I would prefer not having damage on my Shadow Rider, but we'll see. Torn saying asleep is good. Okay. They do Heavy Slam. That's fine. A lot of damage, but okay. Defense increase, special defense. Okay. Oh boy. I don't think they're going to Wide Guard in this situation because I have a free Psychic. I could see Tailwind and Heavy Slam into Shadow Rider, so I'm just gonna click Follow Me and go for a Astral. This endgame's actually pretty tough. This endgame's gonna be tough. I don't think they clicked Wide Guard as I get to Follow Me. Does Torn wake up? Ooh, if they woke up and got Tailwind, this game was a lot tougher. But because they didn't wake up, I'm in a phenomenal spot now because I get the Astral. Get the KO. Nice. All right, I think I'm in a good spot because I KO'd the Shadow Rider. I KO'd the Zamazenta. I get rid of the Torn. I mean, there isn't like skill play here. It was just me with my instinct that they're probably going to go for Tailwind Heavy Slam there. And then I was like, okay, if they Tailwind Heavy Slam, I hopefully sack Smeargle if they wake up. I get the Astral Barrage, double KO. Then I bring in my Torn. Then we play mind games with the Smeargle. Maybe it comes down to speed tie still with Shadow Rider. Like the game is just silly in general, but I also do have Wide Guard to make it safe. Ooh, Rillaboom back. Okay. They give me Grassy. Trying to think of what guarantees the win here. I think it's just going into Torn. Yeah, it's going to Torn here because if I sack Torn, that's fine. I think they probably attempt to Grassy Glide here, but we'll see. I don't think you fake out. Maybe you fake out the Shadow Rider. But we will protect, not commit our Terra just yet. This is probably Psychic into the Smeargle slot. They fake out my Shadow Rider. Did they Astral here? Astral's fine. I'm kind of surprised they risked it though. Okay, they did risk it. Could have went for a Spore, sack my Smeargle to get a free Tailwind up, but that's okay by me. Because I'm pretty sure that they can't knock out my Shadow Rider with +1 Life Orb Astral. At least I'm pretty sure. Especially after Degrassi Terrain Recovery. I hope I'm right. We go into Smeargle, we click Fake Out, we click Astral Barrage. We Terra Dark Astral. We Fake Out the Rillaboom. And then we'll just see. This is a +2 Life Orb Astral Barrage. I don't know how, I don't remember how invested the Rillaboom is. But we'll see how this goes. Like I thought Rillaboom does make sense in the mirror. I thought about it because it's like a consistent way to get Grassy Glides off and the team doesn't have like an Incineroar, so Woodhammer. The problem with Rillaboom is they did leave behind this Smeargle, which was like a pretty good immunity to Astral Barrage, but also like Spore Pressure is just insane. It really is. I get the Terra Dark, we get the Fake Out off. They didn't protect, so there's a speed tie involved and we have Terra Dark and we win the speed tie. So I think even if we lost it, like Astral probably doesn't KO Shadow Rider, and I nuked the Rillaboom as well. So I think that was just checkmate then at that point, because even if they protect Shadow Rider at that point, Rillaboom goes down to the Fake Out plus Astral. I switch. I go for like, I could go for Protect Spore, or I could Protect Go Nizama, and then I have Wide Guard Terra Dark, and that just guarantee wins because they can't touch my Shadow Rider in the end game. So silly Smeargle game, but that is what Smeargle does. And I also just completely forgot about, I didn't sleep the Torn. I just clicked Fake Out into Taunt. All right, we have Calyrex Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Raging Bolt, Rillaboom, Tornadus, and Smeargle. We are playing the mirror again. Am I doing the same thing? Probably. I didn't really like Rillaboom in the mirror. And Raging Bolt is like, again, if the Torn is a danger, it's great. If it's not amazing. It's also very vulnerable to Smeargle plus Shadow Rider, and it gives multiple opportunities for Decorate. So I think I'm just going to go with the Torn Smeargle lead and then do Shadow Rider Zamazenta back. Like, I do think it's the best way to approach the mirror. Like, again, the mirror is full of silly things. Speed ties, Moody's, but we'll see. This is a weird lead. Okay. Shadow Rider Zama. Huh. Not what I would have expected. Not what I would have expected. You're not going to double protect in this position. I should live one attack from the Shadow Rider. I think I can just go for Bleak Wind and fake out. I could go for Tailwind Spore, but I don't really see the benefits of it. I'm just gonna fake out and Bleak Wind. Let's see what they decide to go for, because I could see Protect into Terra Grass, Heavy Slam into like a wide guard situation of Falling Turn. They just decide to attack with both, which I guess is fair. They go for Astral. They didn't break my Smeargle Sash though. Okay. Delaying the Tailwind is really good for me. Can we get some good Bleak Wind damage? We do get some good Bleak Wind damage. Very nice. Attack raise and okay, as long as it's not speed drop, we're fine. I think this is an okay time now to just click Tailwind and Spore the Zamazenta. If they Terra Grass now, I'm gonna lose my mind because that's such an insane play, but also brilliant at the same time. Yet I think it's very likely that they just go on the offense against my Smeargle again with just double attacks at this point. Or if they protect, I can go for Decorate Bleak Wind the next turn, which is what I was hoping for. Beautiful. It's like Tailwind Spore into Shadow Rider was pretty scripted, but I think it works out either way. Because if I denied a wide guard from the Zamazenta, this is just a free Tailwind Bleak or free Decorate Bleak Wind. Back raise. Okay, special defense fall. If it was speed, I had to change my game plan. But yeah, we're going to go for Decorate and we're going to go for a Bleak Wind. I will roll the dice. I am willing to roll the dice, especially because the only way they can prevent this is from Zamazenta going for the wide guard. But they switch out Calyrex Shadow into Rillaboom. Yeah. I don't know about Rillaboom in this mirror. That's the second time we've seen it, but this also covered a Rillaboom switch, but also covers like... I mean, if I get it, it's greedy, but it just works. They did go for wide guard though. Okay. So Decorate was my best play still regardless. And it's going to work out because assuming, well, it can work out. Let's see. We missed one. We missed a Rillaboom, but we hit the Zama, which is really good damage still into Zama. Okay. Moody, special defense increase, speed drop. Okay, so we get the speed drop, which is a bit bad. I'm going to protect the Torn, and I'm just going to Spore attempt the Zama, because I think they're going to attempt a wide guard, and if they wake up, they can put right back to sleep. They're getting right back to sleep. They fake out the Torn. They probably just heavy slammed. Okay. Yeah, they wake up. They body press, fair. Okay. We get a crit. Kind of an interesting mind game. I think they Grassy Glide or they U-turn. Defense increase, doesn't matter. Special attack fall. So I have a Bleak Wind mind game. I have a Taunt mind game. I kind of like the idea of going for Taunt into the Zamazenta and just going for a Follow Me here with my Smeargle. And the reason I like this is because I can set up for a nice position for Shadow Rider in the endgame anyway. Because then they can't wide guard, and then I'll have a pretty good offensive position of Calyrex Shadow Rider plus Zamazenta that's healthy. I feel like I'm in a good shape, but the problem is we don't know what their last is. If it's Torn, it could be scary, but we'll see. They do wide guard, which is what I expect, so this is probably like wide guard Grassy Glide or wide guard U-turn. Both work for me. Because we do get to the Follow Me here. And we Taunt to shut down the wide guard option the next turn. And if they U-turn into my Smeargle, I get a free Shadow Rider switch. The Grassy Glide is perfect. This is perfect. This Tailwind Peter's out, but we don't need it anymore. We're going to go out into our Shadow Rider and push our advantage. I'm pretty sure we live Grassy Glide with Torn because we have a good amount of defense. So we're going to go for a Bleak Wind Storm and we're going to go for an Astral. They don't have any switches, and if Smeargle comes out, they lose their Focus Sash, ideally, which would be really nice. So we will just go for... Maybe I should have Psychicked the Zama, because if it is Smeargle, I would be able to catch it with a Psychic and a Bleak Wind, which would knock it out. But I don't know. I think they're going to sack the Zama at this point, unless they really think they need Wide Guard. Okay, they think they really need Wide Guard. Is this Smeargle? No, Raging Bolt. Okay. I mean, I get good damage with the Astral Barrage. I think I'm okay. What terrestrialization is this? Yeah, I thought it was fire. I mean, I was like, did they change the team and make it normal? I'm pretty sure Bleak Wind into Astral will still KO you with +2, but we'll see. This is a Sharp Beak Bleak Wind at +2. I'm pretty sure it KOs you. Please hit the Rillaboom. I don't need the Raging Bolt. Okay. Yeah. I thought it would KO. Perfect. Ooh. The stress of hitting Bleak Winds. I have not missed it. I have not missed it. Okay, awesome. We get the Rillaboom KO. Fantastic. We're in good shape now. Where they bring out? Is it going to be the Zama? It's going to be the Zama. Perfect. Does Thunderclap into Heavy Slam? Well, they can't Thunderclap into Heavy Slam. Oh, this is a bit weird. I think I'm still in a really good spot, but this could get weird. So I'm going to protect my Shadow Rider here and taunt a Zama so I can Astral freely the next turn. And this doesn't risk like Thunderclap into Heavy Slam into Shadow Rider without playing like the weird mind game, because I could Psychic the Zama, but then they could have went for a Draco Meteor KO a Shadow Rider and protect the Zama, reading that. So there was just some weird mind games that I didn't want to take part of. I think this play ends up working out really well for me because now I just have Life Orb Astral pinning both of these right now. Yeah, because unless the Raging Bolt went for the Torn, but I think if they're protecting or wide guarding with the Zamazenta, they're 100% targeting the Shadow Rider Draco Meteor at that point. Now we bring in our own Zamazenta and we throw off a Astral Barrage and a Body Press, and we should be fine. Yeah. So I think we're in pretty good shape. They go for Thunderclap as a last ditch effort. Doesn't KO my Shadow Rider. Astral Barrage will come out into the Zamazenta and the Raging Bolt. It does pick up the knockout onto both of them. Zamazenta faints, so does the Raging Bolt. And because they Terra the Rillaboom earlier, now I just have a guaranteed win con of going for a Wide Guard and a Terra Dark with Shadow Rider, because they can't Astral Barrage me because of the Wide Guard, and Psychic won't even be able to KO my Shadow Rider because Terra Dark will confirm it. So yeah, we have a game completely sealed. So that's why, like, I'm surprised to see Rillaboom Raging Bolt. I think you just have to bring the Torn and you have to bring the Smeargle and just let it ride, because I think the options are just too overwhelming. And also because like Rillaboom, Zamazenta, and Calyrex Shadow, I don't exactly appreciate Bleak Winds at all. Oh yeah, we go for Wide Guard, we go for the Terra Dark Astral, and we secure the game. They probably go for a Psychic attempt, or they either go for Astral Barrage and hope that I didn't click Wide Guard, or they go for a Psychic and hope they crit my Shadow Rider. But I don't know if a crit Psychic would have killed even at the range I'm at. But Terra Dark is just super safe here because it ensures to win with Wide Guard plus Astral. And I win a speed tide. There's also that factor too. So a lot of things they needed, but yeah, I mean, this end game was just guaranteed secured. All right, beautiful. And Decorate Torn. It's just useful in the mirror because that speed advantage is so crucial, and the stall tactics don't really help out. Also, that's why I don't really like Raging Bolt. As I said before, it just gives Shadow Rider some free opportunities to set up, and Thunderclap isn't good enough, I think, to clean up the end game against Shadow Rider, which is really difficult. And it's also like you can't really damage Zamazenta. You get 2-shot by like both of the restricted attacks. I just feel that the utility of Tailwind, Follow Me, and Spore are just so much better in the mirror. At least that's how I think that the mirror is. There's probably better leads that I have, but I think it's worked out at least for the most part here. Oh. Joey X9. All right. Miraidon, Calyrex, Incineroar, Landorus, Incarnate, Urshifu, and Farigiraf. This is, I'm guessing... Well, this should be the top 8 Japan... Or not Japan, NAIC team used by Yosuke, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So this is kind of an interesting matchup. There was a stream in Kinugawa played really well to win against Yosuke. I don't know what the plan is here, though. I don't know what my plan is here. Last time it was like Raging Bolt plus Smeargle. I'm kind of curious if I do the same thing. It's very weak to the Incineroar lead. Do I bring Shadow Rider? I mean, Shadow Rider is good against this. I think I'm just going to go with Raging Bolt plus Smeargle lead. I'm going to try Raging Bolt, Smeargle, Rillaboom, and Zamazenta back. Where's a Calyrex? This is tough. I think it's Zamazenta. Although, I guess my Lando plan isn't that great from what I'm bringing, so maybe this was not it. The thing is, you can't really bring Torn in a matchup against Miraidon for Farigiraf. It's pretty much impossible. Shadow Rider you can do, but I would probably prefer Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Smeargle plan if I had Spiky Shield. Okay, this works. This works. Okay. Here's if they're going to go for Surging Strikes, if they're going to go for U-Turn. I kind of like the idea of just drawing off a Thunderbolt into the Farigiraf realistically and just going out into Rillaboom. Yeah, I like that actually. If they go for U-Turn, they go for U-Turn. Helping in close combat would be such a big play on their part, but let's see if they make that play. I don't think they will, but we'll see. Because that would invite Shadow Rider for free, and I don't know if they want that, but we'll see. Bring out the Rillaboom. Do they go for helping in close combat, or do they go for Surging Strikes? I don't think you want to take the Spore, but we'll see. Did you go for U-Turn? Okay. Do you risk your Miraidon in this matchup? I feel like the answer is no. I would feel like the answer, you would never risk your Miraidon. Wow, I could have just Draco'd that slot. I debated about Draco meteoring the Miraidon slot. Okay. You get the Electro Seed. I mean, I get a pretty strong Thunderbolt off. This is Electro Terrain and the booster energy. And once I get rid of Farigiraf, I can actually go for my attacks. Ooh. Ooh. Well, what did they go for? Did they Trick Room? I have no idea what they went for. Okay. I think my play is just to go for Protect and go for a U-turn into the Farig. They went for a Helping Hand. I don't know what they went for though. They go for Dazzle in regular form. I don't know if that knocks out Rillaboom, but we'll see. They did go for Dazzle. All right. Interesting. I didn't mind if Rilla went down this turn. Yeah, it went and KO'd Rillaboom, so it didn't really change that much. Rillaboom just living is, I mean, it's not necessary because I'm pretty sure I just get in my Zamazenta here, or I could get in Smeargle once again. Both aren't bad here, but I think I like the idea of, I mean, Fake Out is nice. Fake Out's very nice. Do I want to go on this Smeargle or do I want to go Zamazenta? Zamazenta is technically safe, but then there's Landorus. I think it's Smeargle. Did they bring Landorus or did they bring the Cali? I mean, I don't think they brought Cali Ice at this point. Speed boost. Let's go Smeargle. Let's go. Oh, they did bring Cali Ice. Oh. Hold up. Hold up. I think this should easily knock out Cali Ice. +2 booster energy electric terrain Thunderbolt. And even if I get this play wrong, I don't even think it's that bad realistically. Because the Dazzling Gleam won't KO my Raging Bolt, and then I can bring out my Zamazenta and then wide guard spam. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. Maybe this is too aggressive though. This could be too aggressive, but we'll see. I really like the idea though of going for this Air Electric Thunderbolt though with the Decorate, because if I KO Cali Ice, I think I just instant win. I think I would just instant win. Okay. We get the Decorate off, and they didn't protect, so I feel pretty good about my position. Yeah, they go for Dazzling Gleam. It does nothing to Raging Bolt. Okay, yeah, I am super safe here. Because we get a Thunderbolt, KO to Cali Ice, and then I think I'm just in a phenomenal spot. Yeah, perfect. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then endgame. Feel it's pretty safe. Special attack doesn't matter. Okay. I didn't even need the speed rise, but it gave fear. It gave fear for the Real Boom switch and Spore. All right, Urshifu comes in. I always Thunderclap because the Urshifu's Choice Band, and I go for Follow Me. No, this is always correct. Yeah. Wait, do they have Terra? They do still have Terra, right? Yeah, they do. Do I have to get the call right? Nah, I mean, I think I always Thunderclap here. Aqua just so obvious, but I think we have to Thunderclap. And we have to Follow Me. Yes. Or did we? If we Follow Me, the Aqua Jet, is that bad? Actually, no. I should have probably just decorated my... I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter in the long term. They go for Terra Fairy Miraidon. What? Are they hoping for a throw here? They did Aqua Jet. Oh, my Smeargle. Single oh, wait. I just realized this is way more powerful. This is way more powerful. Ooh, that's bad. Although I think I still win in the long term, but that is rough. Okay. This is actually where the paralysis on the choreograph mattered, because now I get a fake out plus heavy slam off. Although if I did bring the Shadow Rider, I just guaranteed one. I thought they would bring Ensign. Or I'm surprised they bring Lando, but this works. My guaranteed win here is just a Woodhammer wide guard spam, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just two wide guard and Woodhammer. Aqua Jet won't KO my Rila. Yeah. We go for Dazzling Gleam. There are other ways I could have probably won this too, but I think that was just the safest angle. Yeah, we get the wood hammer off, KO to Ursh. Goodbye, Ursh. Beautiful. Okay, epic. And now we win against a Miraidon 1v1 because we just spam wide guard until the end. And then they're forced to struggle. I could heavy slam if I want to, but don't see a reason not to just spam wide guard. Because I don't think they have... There's no way they timer. No, they can't timer, I think. Yeah, no, they can't timer for how long? 12 minutes, I think. And they have to struggle. Like, they have to struggle. Like, I will sit here and just click wide guard and guarantee win. Especially because, like, how many Dazzling Gleams do they have? Like, that was Dazzling Gleam number 3. They only have 13 left. So yeah, like I will spam wide guard 13 times in like the 12 minutes we have to secure the win, guaranteed. So I definitely feel like I should have probably thought about the Terra Fairy option for Miraidon, because I completely like was thinking about a Terra Ghost Urshifu endgame for the body press. But yeah, that didn't work out. I think Shadow Rider was probably the correct 4-5. I was way too much respecting the Instant and the Ice Rider. But then again, I didn't expect to be in a position where I was just in electric terrain, get the +2 KO onto the, what's it called? The Cali Ice, and just one-shot it like that. So that was on me. Yeah, there was also call. I think Aqua Jet was forced, so I think I did go for I probably should have just protected Raging Bolt and followed me. I think Aqua Jet was like absolutely forced in that position. I was worried if they went for close combat. Like, the thing is, it depended on my back, because if I had Shadow Rider, then I'm like, okay, if they lock into non-Aqua Jet, then it's okay to protect the Raging Bolt, because then I would have Fake Out plus Psychic or Astral Barrage available, and I would win the game that way. But Zamazenta actually was probably I can't really say it's a bad bring though, because the Cali Ice, it depended on the Cali Ice as well. Like, if the Cali Ice was positioned better, I think I could have lost. Like, if they had Trick Roomed immediately, it could have been scary. It could have been scary. I don't know what the Ferrograph did. If it attacked, sure. But if it went for Trick Room, I think Zamazenta was like vital. So yeah, hard to say. But I think I'll just fast forward to the part where the Miraidon decides to struggle, because I will just sit here and spam wide guard. I think they're hoping that I didn't PowerPoint up the Zamazenta, but the rental code is PowerPoint up, so there is no reason for me not to just spam wide guard. And I will just sit here until they struggle, because I do not like Miraidon, and I'd probably lose a decent amount of ELO for this, because you lose one game and you lose a lot. I mean, I think he's just trying to figure out the optimal time of hopefully he can win on timer, but I don't think he can ever can. I just don't think he ever can. And then I'll just heavy slam afterward and then just win off that. Maybe I'll make it extra dramatic where I guess the number of Dazzling Gleams that he's went for and go for the heavy slam on a non-number. Oh, we're gonna probably cut it to, you know, because there's like probably 9 minutes in this battle remaining, and he does not have enough of your time in order to beat this. So all right, battle forfeit. I think he finally realized, like, I'm not making the mistake and not going for a wide guard. It's actually funny because I think he forfeited like when I had 4 wide guards remaining, so he was probably either out of dazzles, but at that point, like, yeah, like there was just no way to win. So yeah, definitely was a strange one, because I feel like it could have gone many different ways. Like, that matchup just really depends on like how you play it. Like, there's no landers, which was great for me, but not having Shadow Rider was a huge mistake, because I would have preferred Shadow Rider in the back, because they didn't bring the Incineroar, which was one of the big components, and I got rid of Ferrograph a lot easier than I thought. Maybe I should have just went for a U-turn immediately as well into the Urshifu. There were a lot of things that probably could have been done, but yeah. Zamazenta, Miraidon, Grimmsnarl, Chien-Pao, Volcarona, Iron Hands. This is going to be a tough one. Zamazenta, Miraidon stuff with Double Dark. Nasty Plot's really good if set up, but Volcarona is a bit tricky. How would I want to approach this? Do I want to bring Raging Bolt? Raging Bolt's not that great here. At least I don't think it is. Maybe it's okay as an opener. Because I don't really like my own Zamazenta. I guess I don't need my Zamazenta. I guess I could bring Raging Bolt. I don't really like Torn in this matchup. Because it only beats the Volcarona, but everything else beats my Torn that I just think it's impossible to bring. I think we're going to go with Raging Bolt plus Smeargle. I think it's a pretty decent opener other than into Zamazenta Chien-Pao. I think that's the only lead. Bring Rillaboom Shadow Rider. If they do lead the Chien-Pao plus the Zamazenta, that's a really tough one. I'm hoping they just lead Grim, but we'll see. If they do lead the... I guess maybe this is a commitment lead of do they lead that combo or not, because then I think I would have had to lead... Okay, they lead Chien-Pao Volcarona. That's actually perfect. As I bring Raging Bolt and Smeargle. Did they run Terra Ghost or did they run Terra Stellar on these teams? I never really know. I really want to click Fake Out Thunderbolt into the Chien-Pao. I want to click either Fake Out Thunderbolt in the Chien-Pao or I want to decorate the Raging Bolt. I think it depends on if they protect or not. I'm okay with going for Terra with Bolt, I think, in this matchup. Yeah. So I'm willing to go for a Thunderbolt. I think we're going to tar down the Volcarona, and I think we're going to decorate. They retreat POW, which is incredible for me because they didn't get momentum there. This could be really good for me. So I think they expected the hard Fake Out into the Chien-Pao. What did the Volcarona click? That's really good for me. I get a huge amount of damage to Volcarona, and I mean a huge amount of damage to Volcarona if they didn't protect. And if they protected, I mean I still have Follow Me Redirection. You Quiverdance, I think you might... Do you live this +2 booster energy electric terrain Thunderbolt? Even at +1 Spadef? I don't think so. I don't think so. Thunderbolt. Yeah, there was no chance. Okay, beautiful. Great turn one. Glad I went for Decorate. If I went for the Fake Out Thunderbolt, I was in a lot of trouble, so I am glad that worked out. I have no idea if it's Stellar Terra or not. I feel like I've seen a lot more of like the Ghost Terra is just like, oh, don't Fake Out that mod. So in a lot of cases, like it's just not worth it at that point. So it's an interesting mind game. We're gonna see the Zamazenta come in, which is interesting. Do I just Follow Me Draco Meteor? Yeah, I just Follow Me Draco Meteor because if they Terra Fairy, then they get vulnerable to Thunderclap. Yeah, that's fine. If you protect, that's cool because I get Draco Meteor and a Miraidon, and that's 2 mons down, which is incredible for me. The POW is still annoying, but like this is very nice. Dazzling Gleam or Volt Switch? Dazzling Gleam, okay. It's good damage. Draco Meteor gonna come in into the Miraidon. So now I'm back to neutral attack, but I mean I've got an incredible lead. The problem is this matchup that's this duo Chien-Pao plus Zamazenta can definitely reverse sweep if I'm not careful. Actually, can it? No, I think I'm fine. I think I always Thunderclap the POW and Follow Me, right? Yeah. Wait, they forfeit? I think you could definitely win that. I think you could definitely win that. I'm like pretty confident you could win that. It requires a few reads. The reason I Thunderclap is because in order to KO the Smeargle, they have to go for like a crash, right? Then I go for Thunderclap into the POW because if they Sucker Punch, show by priority, like unless they have Ice Shard, I always get the Thunderclap, bring it down to Sash on the POW, and then Rillaboom Shadow Rider comes in because I go down to Body Press with Sword of Ruin, and I go for like Fake Out plus Nasty Plot with Shadow Rider. I mean, I guess there's definitely mind games there between like Sucker Punch with the Chien-Pao or not, because I already Terra'd, but what a great start. What a great start. Okay, we have Shadow Rider, Calyrex, Zamazenta, Fluttermane, Incineroar, Rillaboom, and the Grimmsnarl. Alright. Okay, how do I want to approach this one? Is this a Torn Angle? I feel like Torn Angle is correct. It does a lot to this team. I could also lead Torn Shadow Rider, but that's really weak to Grim. I think I'm just gonna lead Smeargle plus the Torn. If I could Bleak Wind sweep effectively in a good case. I could also see myself bringing Rillaboom in this matchup for Grassy Glide cleanup instead, but I just like the idea of setting up again for my restricteds, which I think this is just really strong duo wise of being able to accomplish that. A lot of this is going to come down to Fluttermane. Is it a booster energy with speed, or is it just Focus Sash? The Shadow Rider Calyrex is going to be really important. The Grim set's going to be really important. We'll find out. Going to be Grim and Zamazenta, which I am perfectly happy with. Okay. Like the idea of just, well, do I like this? Yeah, it's fine. Not incredible. It's fine. I think I just drew off a Bleak Wind and I spore the Grimmsnarl. Don't be fake out Grim. Don't be fake out Grim. Are you fake out Grim? I just feel like I get some pretty good damage with Bleak Wind into both anyway. If they Light Screen, that's fine. Because then I could go for Tailwind Decorate or Tailwind Spore the next turn. I feel like that's pretty good. They have to be very careful because if they get the turn wrong against Smeargle, it's devastating for them. Oh my. It actually... Okay, wait, hold on. They heavy slammed. They crit me. Oh my goodness, that's such a bad start. That's such a bad start. I was waiting for the speed drop. I really thought the speed drop was happening. Okay. I'm gonna Tailwind and I'm just gonna spore the... Oh, that's just such a bad start, man. They're just gonna Thunder Wave my Smeargle. I just Bleak Wind instead? Yeah, I think I Bleak Wind instead and follow me. They're just gonna click Thunder Wave and Body Press. Actually, no, I like the Bleak Wind option. They Terra. Why did they Terra? The Zamazenta. Oh, they're avoiding a sport that way. What? Why didn't? What? Okay. Interesting choices. I thought did they not have Thunder Wave? I thought they were just gonna Thunder Wave Body Press because unless the Zamazenta is super slow. Yeah, like even if I Tailwind, this Smeargle is slower than the Zama, right? I didn't get a speed boost. So why did they Terra Grass? I guess in case they missed the Thunder Wave, or did they Body Press my Torn originally? That works out huge for me. Because I do get the Bleak Wind off into the Terra Grass Zama. I guess they thought I was always going to Tailwind there, but now I don't think this is too bad. I don't think this is too bad. I get to bring out the Calyrex, and we get to play a mind game. We get to play a fun mind game. You're just gonna click Wide Guard here. I taunt the... Okay, I think they always Wide Guard. I don't know what they do in the Shadow Rider. I think this is either Spirit Break or Thunder Wave. I hope they don't... Well, is this position bad even if I get this Mind Game out? I think it's only bad if Zamazenta protects for some reason, which I don't think it's protecting in this position. I think they always click Wide Guard to prevent Bleak Wind from KOing the Grim or Astral Barrage. They didn't. I could have just Astraled. Did they Thunder Wave? Okay, they suckered. Did they sucker Body Press? That is a strange choice. That's a strange choice. I feel like you might as well Thunder Wave. Okay. Sure. I think I just go for Tailwind now and I just go for Terra Dark Astral. All right, no switches. I am able to get the Astral off, which is beautiful. Okay. And I should get the KO on both of them, and then I get a +2 boost. I'm feeling pretty good about how this game is positioned, although Flutter Mane's still scary. Well, is it? Because it doesn't have the sun up, so it can't be Focus Sash and have the boost energy at the same time. This is Thunder Wave. Yep. Era Dark, so good. So good. Astral Barrage comes out, takes a double knockout on both. Beautiful. Get a crit on Grim. Not necessary, but beautiful. All right, awesome. And the Zamazenta goes down. I'm just really surprised again that they went for the Terra Grass. Like the Zama, the Zama. I'm pretty sure if it has any natural speed IVs, it outspeeds Smeargle max speed. I don't think I got a speed boost unless I had to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. Rillaboom comes in with Shadow Rider, right? Yep. I could still lose to this, but I'd have to get extremely unlucky. Or decently unlucky, I suppose. Double protects on the fake outs. I don't know if they're gonna nasty plot or astral. Both make sense here. But I think I'm good either way. Go for fake out into the Shadow Right. Oh, fake out Torn. Okay. Nasty plot. They just astral. Okay. So they would have to have what, like, they need to double dodge Bleak Wind. They need to double dodge Bleak Wind and have Sash on Shadow Rider for me to lose this. Yeah. We go for Astral and Bleak Wind. If we hit one of the Bleak Winds, specifically Rillaboom because they protect the Shadow Rider, I guarantee to win. Yeah, no, I guarantee to win if I get the Bleak Wind hit into Rillaboom. So that's all I need. That's all I need. There's the Astral. Doesn't KO the Rilla because it's really bulky. Bleak Wind. Okay, we land, so we guarantee to win here. Cool. Alright, that seals up the win guaranteed, because even if it's Sash Shadow Rider, I do have the game confirmed because the Torn is still around. This is my last sort of Tailwind. I go for Astral Barrage Protect, and then I go for a Tailwind Protect. Yep. And that would secure the game, guaranteed. I'm going to be forfeited because they realize that. And we do take the win. Beautiful. Beautiful. I will gladly take that. Okay. Strange start, but it worked out. It worked out. That's a flex. We're facing the #1 ranked player on the ladder. Haven't done this since the beginning of Scarlet Violet, I'm pretty sure. All right. I feel like we played this player. I think we have played this player. Miraidon, Raging Bolt, Ho-Oh, Iron Treads, Fluttermane, and Incineroar. If I'm not mistaken, it's like Terra Normal, Fluttermane. This matchup was really annoying, actually. Yeah, this matchup's gonna be annoying. Fluttermane Miraidon is such a tough lead. How do I break through that? I do have Torn. I could lead Torn Shadow Rider and just draw off attacks, and I am debating it. Because I think my end game, I think Raging Bolt's really good against this team, and I don't think they're bringing Treads. I think I'm going to do Shadow Rider plus the Torn with Smeargle plus the Raging Bolt back. The reason I'm not leading Smeargle is because Smeargle Torn lead gets destroyed by Shadow or by Fluttermane Miraidon lead, and I think Fluttermane Miraidon's actually one of the scariest leads that they could have access to. I think I just threaten the Tailwind Astral immediately, but we'll see. Gonna be the lead of, yep, Miraidon Flutter. I'm surprised. All right, double protect here is pretty safe just to scout for potential Terra. So I like this because the main threat to my Raging Bolt is that Fluttermane. So once I get If I could force a Terra on that Flutter Mane, it would be good. But if not, it's still all right. Now we're going to double protect here. This is just a scout for a Terra, because if they Terra, I might want to not even go for the Astral, and I might just go for the Psychic instead. They could switch to Instant if they want to, but I have no idea if they would really want to go for that. I'm like pretty confident this was Terra Nova Flutter Mane when I played this. Because we played this team against this team in a different episode. Or was that the Groudon team? No, I think it was Koraidon Ho. I remember playing a Koraidon Ho and losing to it. They do Terrasilize though. Okay, is this Koraidon or is this Flutter? Koraidon, okay. Into the Terra Fire, makes sense. So they can't Terra out of their weakness for Ho-Oh, which is great. Which means that Raging Bolt will be super threatening once it comes on the board. The question is, do I want to Terrasilize my Raging Bolt or not? I'm not sure. You go for Icy Wind. I'm curious if they have Shadow Ball or not. Scale Shot. Okay, Scale Shot is something. Scale Shot is indeed something. So this is a loaded dice Koraidon. Oh, that's why. Because they did have Scale Shot Koraidon. I remember now. I remember the match. I lost on the instant mind game of do I protect or not, and they got it right. Okay, where do I want to go with this one? I should always Tailwind here. The question is, am I going for Astral? I think I am going for Astral, but do I Terra Dark? Because they could Shadow Ball, which would be bad, but I think I just go for Tailwind plus Astral. Because I'm going to get big damage into Flutter, good damage to the Koraidon, and then we'll see how the rest shapes up. Oh, I crit the Koraidon. That's so bad for Oh my goodness. I mean, that was a really bad crit for them. But that is just funny. That is just funny. I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea how the game would have progressed. I would have loved to seen how this progressed because I think I could set up for a good Raging Bolt, but it would have been tricky. I'm really curious on what they lock into. If they Icy Wind again, it's an interesting mind game. I mean, the next turn, because I'm bringing out Raging Bolt, if they go for the double up. But then it's just like a mind game of Thunderclaps, Bleak Winds, Protects even. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. But Cali Shadow said, nope, we don't have to play. Here, you don't have to play that mind game. Let me just crit him. My trusty horse and steed. All right, let's go over to games. In game one, great start, though the fact it was Rocky Helmet Tatsugiri made things awkward since my opponent could have won if they had Encore with Shadow Rider and they Encored my Smeargle on a fake out, left it on the field, and then won a potential speed tie against my Shadow Rider afterward. As I noted in the showcase, it could have been a potential speed tie, but since the Shadow Rider wasn't actually faster, I really actually needed them to KO the Smeargle. Or at least I would be able to get the Spore off, hopefully, into the Calyrex Shadow. Luckily, they chose to KO the Smeargle, so I got the free switch to Tailwind, because otherwise I was thinking it was a potential just speed tie, but I was slower with my Calyrex Shadow, so that would not have worked out well. In game two, another Dondozo combo, but some strange interactions with the lead, I'll say, but my opponent gave up their Terra and was able to pin the Dondozo nicely to seal the win. In games 3 and 4, the Mirror, which generally has some silly interactions, I think, or at least what I imagined, and yes, they were silly with Smeargle and Moody, but I do think the support of Smeargle and Tornadus are just so strong to support the Restricteds to win the games. Though game 1 was a bit ugly after forgetting that I did not sport a Torn turn 1, I went for Fake Out and Taunt, as I thought I was safe to click Decorate Bleak Wind. However, definitely could have been threatened by their own Bleak Wind. Otherwise, I think I was able to capitalize well with the position I was put in, but it was definitely a ugly start to the first game, especially. All right, we got Joe UX9. However, the start was pretty good. I think I would have probably preferred getting the Draco Meteor Snipe on the Miraidon immediately. However, wasn't too shabby. However, I do think I actually realized that even though there was a bit of RNG, we got lucky with the paralysis on the Furgraph. I think I could have actually had a really clean endgame because we did get the KO on the Calyrex with the Thunderbolt. I actually think I had a game secure locked, but I didn't actually notice at the time. The correct play, I think, in that position, instead of like, okay, gambling on that spot, is to sack both Smeargle and Rillaboom. I switch out my Raging Bolt into the Rillaboom and I sack my Smeargle there, because if I let both of them go down, I get to see what the Urshifu is locked into, right? If it's Aqua Jet, I can focus down the Miraidon, and if it is the Certain Strikes, I just go for Thunderclap the next turn, and I also have Wide Guard next to Thunderclap on deck. So I think in that case, I definitely should have probably have just went for a double swap into the Rillaboom, sack it with Smeargle. But the play I did wasn't the greatest. It kind of let some openings, but across the board I still think it worked out because I was able to win on timer thanks to the combo of Wood Hammer because of the paralysis from earlier, which I assume was a helping hand, and the Wide Guard. However, I think I could have cleaned up that end game even without that paralysis, but it depended on what the Furgraph did immediately at the start of the game. Also, bringing Shadow Rider would have been more helpful than Zamazenta, but I didn't expect to KO the Calyrex Ice Rider like that. In game 6, the best turns I could have asked for, as I got 2 crucial knockouts. I don't think it was over since Xian Pao with Zamazenta was still tricky with Sucker Punch mind games, but they ended up forfeiting. In game 7, one of the worst turn 1 outcomes, but the heavy damage just allowed my Calyrex to have a lot of momentum and claim knockouts in order to sweep the remaining mons in the back. I don't think I have to recap this game, as an immediate crit into a disconnection is a classic. The team is really strong, and I think it's even more shocking how good Kinugawa is and how well he understands the team, because he just showcased the team at NAIC, which is open team sheet format. The players going to Japan Nats knew what the sets were for the most part, and Kinugawa was still able to come out on top in a close team sheet best of 1 setting. Absolute incredible run by Kinugawa, and a player that is very well deserving of the win, as he did get 2nd place at the last year's Japan Nationals. So really cool to see him win. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. If you would like to try out this amazing team, it will be on the screen. Hopefully the rental code is still available by the time the video comes out. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.